You know, one of the things that I remember when I first went to Japan, and I had made the decision to go to Japan, and when I was on the plane, I read this book called Culture Shock Japan. And when I went there, the more I read the book, the more I was concerned, because it told you all these things that you shouldn't do in Japan. And I was really afraid of committing some sort of social faux pas. You know, before I went, a lot of people said to me about, you might have culture shock, Corinne. And I was pretty flippant about it, to be very honest. I had moved around all my life, and I've lived in a lot of different countries because of just the way my family lived. And I thought, okay, I'll be fine. I won't have any culture shock. And the closer I got to Japan, the more panicked I got. And, you know, I was thinking to myself, what are you doing, Corinne? What are you doing? You don't know anything about this country. What are you going there for? And then I arrived there, and I was picked up by my coworker at the airport. And we went to the school, and then they took me in a cab to my apartment. And I remember looking over, and I saw some vending machines, and I saw Dr. Pepper in one and Pringles in another. And I thought, you know what? Everything's gonna be okay. I don't know what magical powers I thought Pringles and Dr. Pepper had, but apparently I did. And that was enough to calm me down and not worry about making these social faux pas, because I realized after that it didn't matter what I did. The Japanese people were so friendly, they forgave me because I was a foreigner. And so all that panicking was really for nothing. And when I first moved to Japan, I loved everything. The Japanese people could do no wrong. Everything I loved. And then one day I woke up, and everything that I loved the day before, suddenly I hated. It was like, in Japan, when you go into a store, they always shout out a greeting like, welcome to the store. And you know, the day before, I liked that, and the day after, when this culture shock hit, it suddenly became insincere. And I think I went through culture shock for a couple of months. And in fact, one of my really good Japanese friends was one of the people that really helped me through it. And I talked to some of my friends back in Canada and some friends in the States, and you know, my friends also talked me through it, and they're like, you know what, Corinne, you just have to get through this time. They didn't feed into it, and I think that's a really important thing about culture shock, is to tell your family and your friends you're going to go through it, and that when you do phone and you want to come back home, is to encourage you to stay rather than encourage you to come back.
But you need to walk a lot.
You know, because if you phone your mom and you say you're sad, mom's jobs are to say, well, if you're not happy, come back. And really what you want your mom to do is encourage you to stay, because you're going to get through it, and everybody does get through culture shock. For some people it's very short, and some people it's really long. But I think to remember that you'll find that balance again. And the fact is that people are very forgiving when you're a new person in their country. And I think people should just be open to the experience rather than panicking about making some sort of mistake.